Welcome back to the Fix Podcast. We're now here with Ari Javi and somebody who will fight out the youths there.
Let me take my time
read out. All right, the slashes. Attorney at law, former assistant attorney general of Jamaica. Right, also a former broadcaster. Keep that in mind. All right, he was appointed to Jamaica National Commission for UNESCO and represents Jamaica on the Intergovernmental Council for the UNESCO Information for All program, IFAP. All right, but he's mostly here in his capacity as the executive director of the Broadcasting Commission of Jamaica. Mr. Cordel Green is in the building. There we go. Can bust a applause.
Yes,
I am busting the applause from the aspect of the artist.
Thank you. Of the what?
Of the artist. Everybody has scattered applause.
That's all right.
Some applause and some say, bless up for passing through our humble podcast, sir.
It is a pleasure. It's been a long time.
Yes.
Happy to be here.
Yes,
This has been in the making for a long time. We'll give thanks that you're actually here.
Happy
We
to
can
have
talk
you.
to you about a whole lot of things.
And just overall get some clarity.
Yes.
Right. You know,
I think
because
that's a key thing.
there's a lot being said in the space about the recent ban that the Broadcasting Commission has placed on gun songs with that glorify Molly use or just drugs in general and scamming, you know. And, you know, a lot of people disagree with it. I think even the Media Association of Jamaica, they said that there wasn't really much like discussion had with that group about it before issuing the ban. So just why did the Broadcasting Commission feel the need to issue this directive right now?
Yes, and let me address the last part first. Because there's a difference between setting policy and regulating.
Okay.
Broadcasting Commission doesn't consult to regulate.
Okay.
And here's the interesting thing, and I'm happy you talk about clarity. There is an impression being given that we're doing something new. Now, so you talk about consultation. Allow me just to say something in relation to the regulation. Because what I have deduced is a lot of people are talking about this and they haven't read it.
Yeah.
They're just going by the bits and pieces and how people feel. So hear this now.
The headline. Yeah.
The regulations on which the directive is based, those regulations were made in 1986.
Okay.
The directive, the directive begins by referencing the regulations.
Which is the Radio Diffusion Act, right?
The television and sound broadcasting regulations
Right.
derive from the Broadcasting and Radio Rediffusion Act.
Right, okay.
Hear what it says. Long time thing. Lawyer write it so you can understand it, right? Whereas, so the directive now references Regulation 30A. You know what that regulation says? Nobody who holds a broadcast license is permitted to transmit any matter in contravention of the laws of Jamaica. That alone, wide.
Very.
Then hear this one now, which is more specific. Regulation 30J. No licensee shall permit to be transmitted any matter which is likely to incite violence or criminal activity or lead to a breach of the peace. That's the context from which the directive is derived. Now, you may agree or disagree, but let's not pretend that we're talking about something that is new. The regulator intervened and, listen, folks, all the things go on.
Yeah.
And we don't jump into the reference every minute. We don't do that.
Yeah.
Because it's a dynamic society.
It is.
Culture evolves. So even when some people out there are talk about scamming and banger, and the regulator has to take time to get a full understanding of what's going on. Here we say, the fix. What is that? You have some people who say, you know what the fix me? It's associated with drugs. You have nothing to do with that.
I don't really want to put in a message out there.
All right.
Yeah,
Retracted.
Green, yeah.
Retracted. All right. Better one.
The man well versed in YouTube.
Better one. You want your proper fix? Call me. You want your different concept. Different concept and construct.
Yeah.
So we have to take our time to understand what is going on. And we don't enter upon the reference every time there's an issue. This one we saw as systemic. It don't make no sense. We are talking to Ari and we find you in violation, then we come to you, we find you in violation. Right. We discovered this was across the board in terms of these songs on the airwaves.
Because I believe you made a comment that it was at the end of the end product of a wide-ranging process that included focus monitoring, decoding of soul culture, dialect, and urban slangs.
So essentially, what you're saying that the Broadcasting Commission took time to kind of gather what was happening in the space before they jumped on it.
But we had to, in fact, we found stations in violation. But let me tell you why some people might not have associated with the directive with apologies. One of the things we do, we're really not dealing with the artist, So we are not going to say Ari's song was broadcast and it should not be broadcast. When you're apologizing,
it should be.
We say on X date, the fix broadcast a song which did not comport with the regulations, and the fix apologizes to the public.
Right.
So we did find some of these types of songs.
Even before
the directive.
Okay.
Before the directive, there were stations apologize. But they didn't say because we played a scamming song or, it would have been in more general terms.
Okay.
But the directive now made precise what was the systemic problem. And, this is, folks, about boundaries and standards. You run a joke about the artists, but it's a serious thing. You have artists out there who believe that Broadcasting Commission fight against artists.
Yes.
We don't deal with artists. We have nothing to do with artists. I deeply appreciate that art comes from all kinds of places. Art is informed by our dysfunctionalities, our inspiration, our experience, our worldview, where we are try convince people about, how we are try shape society, what we observe about the shaping of society.
Yes.
So we have no control over or interest in what goes on in a studio. We're talking about space and place. You can disagree, but free to air, not the fix where me I go online or me have some data. Free to air. I don't have to do nothing but turn on my radio. That space comes with rules and regulations. And some people, I don't know what's going on. I know the operating systems of the society are changing. A lot of standards are being challenged. Some people born in a different age. And it's kind of hard for them grasp some things. But that's all we're talking about. You do not expect to go to church on Sabbath or Sunday and the pastor come out and say, "Morning, congregation, we're gonna start praise and worship with my favorite gully bop. It don't happen. Well, let me hold on.
To Gully Bop, by the way.
Let me retract that. It may happen.
No.
It may happen. But honestly,
Yeah.
we would be shocked.
Yeah.
Not shocked. Shocked if we hear that. So it's pretty much, folks, the very same thing about radio is not dancehall. Radio is not studio. Radio is not the internet. It meets the fix in the internet. It meets the fix in social media. But in terms of its own domain, the spectrum, which is a public asset, it's regulated. It's as simple as
Does
that.
it get you, because we see you're talking very animated, and one might think that it may come off as being frustrated. Like, you get frustrated sometimes when you try to explain certain things to people.
You know,
why them just not get it?
Yeah.
well,
Especially the people who say, "Oh, freedom of speech."
Yeah, and they will find
anymore.
artists and all sorts of
well,
things.
guess what now? No, because that applies to everything. It applies to court ruling. It applies to a police, though. It applies to a principal, though. Where prime minister, though. Where on do pan fix, on talk, and man talk about vlogger, I spread this and spread that. I don't get frustrated, but I am disappointed that in the digital age, in the information age, in general terms, we have become less informed. So it's not limited to what we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
It is how many people still sit around and say, me a scam and me a rob because me have no way out because me can't afford to pay to go university. But there are free courses offered by MIT and Harvard. You can go to the best universities in the world for free. You're not going to get a degree. But if anything you want to learn, and you see a lot of people saying that. I'm in business. I start to do hairdressing. I start to knit. I start to make cake. YouTube
University.
So there are people who are making use of the new age. You entrepreneurs. You entrepreneurs who look at what we're doing here. There was just a few years ago. This wouldn't happen. You would have had to go negotiate with a TV station. They wouldn't even let you through the door.
This is true.
And now the internet has come along.
Yeah.
Facts.
And you have gotten this opportunity and you're maximizing it. There are a lot of people are not maximizing the opportunity. It is not limited to broadcasting. The United Nations Secretary General quite rightly said, we are going through a huge trust deficit.
Yeah.
That trust deficit is being worsened because people are not informing themselves, or they are seeking to be informed by bubbles. So me lock in our bubble with the drown. And the only thing me hear, awareness set, and that's the only thing I reflect on. And it is a huge problem. It is affecting the world's greatest democracy as we speak.
Today.
The United States of America.
Let's see how it goes today.
is a serious thing.
Yeah.
Y'all when we hurting, working in the graveyard. Say we working hard in the graveyard, working so hard in the graveyard.
Say them hunted, be a tall gun them a walk with, and the thing name love shotting. Me tell them to clean up them hands still, cause life out there for we all live. Politics we all with a man in, them not care for the youths, them a starving.
I put the family first, and it no matter about your last name. Me know we can't be the worst, so what the family first, yeah. I put the family first. Love how the team I win the ball game.
Enough trap them have said for you. Pray for some little things you never get for do. Can't do nothing you never make for do. Yo, ghost man, say we cry tears. Yeah. Who would have thought that the perfect dream is a nightmare?